Right. Okay, that should be... No, that's not it. There we go. Okay. Hopefully the camera doesn't move too much. So we can do this and do that. Okay, cool. Right. The new coach bitter. Hi. Alright. Yeah, good point. You're right. So I just lied then. He said it was already perfect. Is there any music on this or is it only the game audio? Actually, it doesn't matter. I'll just keep it muted. Okay, let's have a look. Game audio. My desktop audio I've not set the mixer for. Okay. Is there any specific reason why you use Dry Bomber? Because I'm guessing you're close to the point where you can transition to Egg. You don't put music in your runs. Fair enough. Egg is slower, really. Okay, so you do the mono MT there. That's good. I'll go over any points properly after. I just want to have a look at the run. Oh, really? It'll largely just be to do with how you're doing the off-road then, probably. It seems like there's no big things, it's just little things here or there. Red Bomber can get 130, probably. But well, Egg 1 can get 139 anyway, so. That ending I wasn't so sure about though. Okay. So shall we begin? I apologise, I've slumped off camera a bit. Right. Shall we begin? Right. Should be there? Right. Okay, so beta gets a 130.2. How is it so much faster? Because it's beta, it's a simple answer. Let's have a look. The thing that I've noticed here is you're quite wide here. You do your first MT quite early. You could probably delay it, and I reckon if you were to delay it a bit more, you could probably focus on getting a better corner, and you could force the cart more to the right. Are you capable of double hop PRBing with Dry Bomber? Is that a thing you're able to do? If whether you are or not will kind of influence what I suggest next. Because if you can, there is a good strategy. Easy peasy. Alright. You just pass the Goomba on the right. Yeah, good one. For the benefit of those watching, you can't go on the right of the Goomba in non-PRB rules, because that's cheating. Right. If you can, what to do then? I would delay the first MT a bit. And do decent spacing. So do your two RMTs, and what you can do is do a neutral hop and then do an LMT. And what should happen is it's basically like the world record strategy, but for Dry Bomber. So what should happen is that with the double hop, the first neutral hop sort of keeps your momentum going to the side, and then once you then go into LMT, you're sort of pulled tighter over there, but you can still pass the Goomba. You kind of need the double hop, I think, because the problem is if you don't, you can't really pass the Goomba very easily. But if you see how the world record kind of does it with Egg, that's quite tough. But it should be doable with Dry Bomber because you can delay the MTs quite effectively. And it should allow you to get a much tighter line. Even if you just delay the first two MTs and then just like RMTs, I'm getting my directions mixed up. Even if you delay the first two RMTs and just do another RMT after that, you should still get a better line. You might in fact alternatively be able to do delayed RMTs for the first two, do 3 RMTs and then just do a double hop into another RMT, and that's where you'll get quite a good straighter line. That might be tricky, but certainly you should be delaying these a bit more so you can pull yourself around a corner and focus on getting a better line, because you're pushing yourself very far this direction and that's a fair bit of time loss. You could be more pushing up here and then you get a much better line. It should help save a bit of time, because like you're absolutely like ages away from that Goomba. Like realistically you should be quite close to that Goomba and you know your line's good. So that's the start. Okay. So carry on. Again here, try to just delay or space a bit more. Just count the frames. Yeah, good one. When you're going around here, the cornering's fine. However, you're quite quick to do those two MTs. Like you could just release the MT here, like so you're like, I know it can be like pushing like the rules, like you're really sort of making sure you have to release for the grass, but the idea is that you benefit as much as you can before the rules come into effect. So because it's not that bad to be fair, but you definitely could space a bit more and then release right before the grass, and you'll cut as much as possible before like you lose PRB. Into Rawford more to the left. On the first lap you shouldn't need to, especially with dry bones. Maybe in lap 2 and 3 it's something you have to consider a bit more, but like even then with dry bones you probably don't. Like Dry Bomber, like Egg 1 it's a consideration, but for Dry Bomber it's so good off-road anyway, you're probably as well just going for best line. Thing is, it's like you can cut more, but well, not so much you can cut more, but you can be further into it before you lose it. But I don't know how much you would save. 2 seconds. Let's. Yeah, I think, to be fair, maybe a little bit. Like, I can't think off the top of my head exactly where the best place to release it is, but it's probably still on the green rather than on the sand. To be fair, like, you're coming from a tight angle anyway, so for the sake of lap 1, it's just more about releasing MT closer to the off-road. But like for especially with Dry Bomber, you're probably as well just looking for like the tightest line. It'll carry you over. So space more, yeah. I think that was okay there. This part here, the thing I noticed as well is like, see, because you're just not double hopping in the grass. This is partly because it's dry bomber again, like because it's a lot faster. But what's happening is you're coming out and you're kind of at a wider angle again. All right, see you later, Chief. Um, it might be quite tricky to do because, like I say, dry bomber is faster off road, but I guess slow it down again. This part here, so this MT here, when you release that one, it's worth trying a double hop. Might be hard, but it's worth a go because it does save time. Because what happens is you come out with a better angle, and instead of being all the way over here, the momentum's continually pushing you this way. The momentum pushes you more this way. It might be harder, but you know, at the end of the day, there comes a point where things are going to be harder if you do improvements. It's worth having a look to see if you can do it. But like, yeah, it might actually help as well because you might get a much straighter sort of run through this as well. I go for that double hop in my egg run. I'll try that here. Yeah, you'd be as well because it's not just the corner immediately after that benefits. It's like kind of the straight as well because of this slippy road. Like to an extent, it carries your momentum in a certain direction more. So if you enter with a good angle, you can kind of get a much better line through. To be fair, it didn't work out too badly here, but it would probably be more beneficial. That double hop, hold on. Okay, no, that's okay. It's probably just because it's in slow-mo, it threw me off a bit. The strategy's the right idea here. Not too much to really say about that. Yeah, I think that's okay where you enter the grass there as well. I'm just trying to think about your exit from the grass. Because like I'm seeing you doing 2 double hops there. I'm trying to think. It might be partially because of dry bomber's lower speed, but normally I would do 2 double hops there. So I'm wondering what's up with your spacing. You're going into that MT quite early. You might be able to release that MT a little bit later, and then you can do this with just a single double hop after the first LMT, and then you might be able to carry your boost better around here. You might lose less boost overall. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, so it's like release the MT during this room a bit later, the RMT, then do an LMT, then 1 double hop, and if your spacing's right, you should only need to do 1 double hop, and you don't drop so much boost time here, because it's after this, yeah, you lose boost time there a bit. That's kind of what happens. And then again, same thing here, the double hop. Yeah, double hop's fine in that corner. I think there was something I noticed on this lap. Thanks. Just the thing you got to watch in this corner is it's easy to be thrown wide. Don't be scared to try and force the drift slightly further inward, like try and turn slightly more during the drift. Even if, even if you space it a bit more so that you can force it a tighter angle, that might help save you a bit of time. The off-road doesn't look too bad. You might be able to get away with a slightly more aggressive angle here, like sorry, just after this. So like rather than sort of forcing yourself really wide, like just try and go on a more straight or aggressive angle, because dry bomber's handling will go around that U-turn like it's nothing anyway. It might save you a bit of time rather than trying to go wide. Like I see what you're doing, you're going wide to start to finish tight, but dry bomber's handling so good you don't really need to do that, I don't think. And then after that, it's just what we've discussed before in the previous laps. So, but you can kind of see the effect of the snake in here, particularly, like because of the lack of a sort of double hop in this corner. You very wide. Your snaking is very like much being forced over to this piranha plant. Kind of awkward angle. The ending. Try not to use so much handling. I would try to get that last MT sooner. Don't use so much handling. Just go into that last MT earlier, and then you should be able to drift straight to the finish, and you'll reduce the amount of time you're using handling and get a better angle, etc. Yeah. Just use a bit too much of a delay in that last MT. Yeah, in fact, probably don't even need to use handling. Just go straight into an LMT and then drift finish. And I think that would help you there a bit as well. To be fair, it might be more that you were maybe just like trying not to lose a run. I know what it's like sometimes. If you're at the end of a 3-lap time, you feel like you're on the verge of like completely collapsing in the run or whatever. So sometimes you're a bit sort of shaky and nervy at the end. So I appreciate it's maybe harder. But that's my advice generally, is like just try to like don't really use handling there at all. But it's not really doing anything to help you there, because you're already, before you use the handling, you're at a good enough angle to just LMT and then just polish off for the finish. So yeah, maybe to RMT instead of RMT. LMT would be better in the end. The only problem is when you do the LMT at the end, like, assuming he doesn't use the handling, the LMT, because when you do an LMT, the car initially sort of pushes to the right, it kind of corrects the line in itself by virtue of drifting to the left. Whereas, like, if you do an RMT, you've got to force a bigger change of angle by sort of like turning more, steering more into the drift. And like, although Dry Bomber might be able to get away with it, it kind of gives you a more curved path, and I think it actually slows you down. Hopefully that saves a 0.6. What's that for? A myth? Or a Titan? I'm not sure. A myth, surely. Yeah, it must be a myth you're looking for. But to be honest, though, with some of those improvements in mind, that might be enough to get you the egg 1 time that you want. Because there's going to come a point where egg 1's better, but truthfully, a lot of that just comes down to the player, at what point egg is better. But generally speaking, because there isn't that much off-road, egg 1 should be faster. It just depends on how well you can do the like mono MTs lap 2 and 3, and how well you can do the starts. But if you really are still struggling with egg 1, then by all means stick to this cart. But yeah, I think that's all I can really comment on that one. It's watch your spacing in certain parts and the angles to set up the snaking at the end, particularly. So I think that's about everything. Unless you've got any more questions, I'll probably conclude that there. No problem. Always happy to help. So, and it's good to get a break from Baby Park. My brain feels engaged again. Like honestly, it's almost like therapeutic.